program today. We introduced this new debt assessment. Remind us again what's there waiting for us at faithfi.com.
Well, at faithfi.com/debt, you have the opportunity to look at your debt picture and develop a plan. That plan will help you know what to do and what steps to take to help you get out of debt so that you are free to serve the Lord in whatever way He calls you to do. And that's our hope for you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you're one of those people that Sharon was talking about where you just don't like numbers, I promise it's not going to look like a spreadsheet. It's going to look like just a series of questions that we ask you so that you can input the information and then have the tools to actually make decisions on how you can pay that off most quickly. Well, Sharon, it's always fun to be with you. I appreciate you sitting in today.
It's been a meaningful conversation. I'm grateful.
That was Sharon Epps. She's president here at Kingdom Advisors. She joins us regularly on this broadcast. We always look forward to that opportunity. Folks, thanks for being along with us today. Hey, Faith and Finance is listener supported, and here in the fourth quarter, this is a vital time to hear from you with your financial gifts. Of any amount, just head to faithfi.com and click give. Thanks to my team today, Robert Youngblood, Jim Henry, and Evan Patrick. I'm Rob West. We'll see you tomorrow on Faith and Finance, American Family Radio. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG Greenville, Dallas.
For the party. Awesome. Not really. I went to try it on, but Emma, there was a man in there. A man? I told customer service, but they said it's our policy. What?
Target allows men into women's restrooms and changing areas. The American Family Association is calling for a boycott of Target until they reverse this misguided policy. Sign the pledge at afa.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association. This is American Family News. I'm Steve Chordal. Multiple American military personnel have been wounded after a series of drone attacks at bases in Iraq and Syria. Fox's Mark Meredith has more from the White House.
U.S. officials say they are closely watching these developments. These recent attacks, both rocket and drone attacks on U.S. forces serving in the Middle East, calling them not only troubling, but of growing concern. And while these attacks are being carried out by third-party groups, they believe the Iranians have their fingerprints all over them. We've been learning about these attacks and more details, including just last night as the Pentagon released new details with at least 24 service members injured over the last few days in these attacks taking place both in Iraq and in Syria. While new U.S. troops have been killed, at least one American contractor died after suffering a cardiac incident, basically panicked after these drone attacks were being launched at the base they were at.
The attacks come as the U.S. tries to contain the war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Syrian state media said that an Israeli airstrike on Wednesday hit the international airport in the northern city of Aleppo, damaging its runway and putting it out of service amid the Israel-Hamas war. The attack would be the fourth time that Israel has targeted the airport in the war-torn country's second-largest city since the onset of the war on October 7th. Israel has justified the attacks on the Syrian airport, saying it is used to bring shipments of weapons and ammunitions from Iran, which is backing Hamas terrorists in Gaza and the Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon. Survivors of the October 7th Hamas terror attack in Israel are speaking out about their experiences. Neda Atzili was left alive when militants raided his home. He talked about his experience on Fox and Friends.
I have no idea why they didn't kill me. If they were smarter or stronger or more resourceful or more determined, I would be dead.
Atzili says he thinks his parents are among the over 200 hostages taken by Hamas into Gaza. The death toll from the fighting continues to rise, with at least 33 Americans confirmed dead. In the conflict, Israel has been ramping up attacks on the Gaza Strip and limiting supplies in the region. Palestinians say they're running out of food, water, medicine, and gasoline. Granting mass parole to Gazans is illegal and could be dangerous to the security of our nation. AFN's Chad Groening has more.
As Israel prepares to respond to the barbaric Hamas terrorist attacks on October 7th, they have warned Gaza residents to evacuate Gaza City. It's not surprising there are already some individuals calling upon the Biden administration to allow Gazans to come to the United States. Ira Melman, who is media director for the Federation for American Immigration Reform, says that is a bad idea.
First of all, it's illegal because the president does not have the power to just grant parole to anybody that he wants in any number. The law is very specific. It lays out the conditions under which parole can be granted. It has to be on a case-by-case basis, and there has to be some compelling national interest or humanitarian interest. The president simply can't just make up rules and decide that he's going to let in people who are otherwise inadmissible to the United States.
And Millman says it's dangerous.
That just carried out one of the most horrific atrocities that we have seen in our lifetimes. We have no way of vetting them. The ruling authorities where they live in the territories that they see, they're not going to tell us who the dangerous people are. In fact, they'd be likely to send dangerous people.
Millman says being aggressive in the region is the only viable way to keep Gazans safe, but also ensuring the security of the United States. I'm Chad Groening.
Well, first it was Ford, then Stellantis, and now a General Motors factory has been added to the growing list of plants where the United Auto Workers Union is on strike. On Tuesday, about 5,000 workers walked out of GM's factory in Arlington, Texas, that makes the big high-margin SUVs like the Chevy Tahoe and the Cadillac Escalade. The strikes in Texas, as well as the largest Ford factory in the world in Louisville, Kentucky, and a Stellantis plant that makes Ram pickups in Michigan, are aimed at getting the company to capitulate to union demands for better wages and benefits than the information online. Our web address is AFN.net. For American Family News, I'm Steve Trudell.
Whenever pastors need to feel people's love and support, there's no better time to do this than Pastor Appreciation Month in October, and there's no better way than using the easiest 1, 2, 3 Bless Your Pastor materials available for free at blessyourpastor.org. If your church uses the free 1, 2, 3 materials, church pastors will be offered a $300 scholarship application to attend the marriage retreat at blessyourpastor.org. That's blessyourpastor.org. Welcome to today's issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Landman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. On this Wednesday, October the 25th, 2023, joining me in studio is no, Ed's gone. So Fred Jackson. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning. And if Ed was here, he would remind everybody, for the 25th of October, that means 8 weeks to Christmas.
That's exactly.
And get your shopping days.
Yeah, 8 more weeks of Christmas till Christmas. How you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing well. In honor of Ed's absence, I have laid out 2 cough drops side by side.
Chris Woodward.
Where they go.
Chris Woodward. Okay, so Ed's not here. I think we can talk about it.
One for me and one for my homie.
Am I right? You can talk about people when they're not with you, you know.
That's right.
Ed's probably not listened to the show. Nor will any of our listeners email him and tell him that Tim, Fred, and Chris were talking about it. But we tease him because he's would you call him mildly OCD? Is that the right? What's that short for?
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that. I know we've all got disorders, but whatever this is. So Ed, every day he lines up about 10 cough drops.
Yes, and very neatly.
Yes, very neatly, very meticulous, and they're in a certain design, and so they're right next to his. They're where you're sitting right now.
Right there.
Yeah, so we tease him about that.
Yes, and every now and then our producer, Brent Creeley, threatens to go like that.
Yeah, to shake them up. Yeah. And if they start, if you accidentally hit them or move them, he gets really.
That's right.
Frustrated. And so I don't know what that disorder is, but that's what happened. That's what we're kidding about. Right?
I just sent him I took a picture and I sent it to him.
Oh no.
He's on vacation, Chris. You shouldn't be bothering him.
Okay, I didn't know that.
No, that's okay.
Let me delete.
Too late.
I need IT in here to delete a text message.
I texted him last night. He was watching the Bruins, the Boston Bruins NHL game. He and his wife, they got out of town for a few days.
Good.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for joining us in whatever disorder you have. Work on it today. Try to become a better person.
I'm going to talk about that with Dr. Nurse Mama.
I'm going to go full Joel Osteen. Become a better person today.
There you go.
Look in the mirror. What did you say? You're a doctor?
I said I'm going to talk about this with Dr. Nurse Mama.
Oh, yeah, our new show.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Anything to get out of the way here before we move into the news? We having guests today? No guests today.
No.
So it's just us three, fellas.
We're going at it.
Better do our best here. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, we think we may have a House Speaker possibly by the end of today.
I'm going to spit out my coffee right there with that one.
Representative Mike Johnson is the latest GOP nominee for House Speaker. We have the story on our website, afn.net. Johnson is a congressman from Louisiana, and his name made it into the mix last night because the guy that Republicans did have a closed-door meeting and agreed on was Congressman Tom Emmer of Minnesota, a ranking member of Congress there in the Republican Party. So just for people that might not have paid attention to news yesterday, around lunchtime, Tom Emmer's name enters the mix as the guy. And then a few hours after that, Tom Emmer has decided he's going to drop out of the race, and they're going to have to go back to square one. I have a lot of audio here. Let's begin with this one. It's Congressman Mike Flood of Nebraska on Fox News just after Tom Emmer dropped out. Clip one.
Tom Emmer let the conference know that he was withdrawing, that he wants to be the best whip he can be. I knew something was up when I walked into the room and we had the voting pencils back on the seats. I thought that's a little odd. When we left here at 2 o'clock, we had nominated a speaker designate, and he quickly withdrew. And Patrick McHenry, our Speaker Pro Tem, he's taking over the process now, and he says we need to regroup and figure out what we do next.
Now,
who was that?
That was Representative Mike Flood of Nebraska on Fox News.
Okay.
After this news breaks, I then switch over to Newsmax to see how they're covering the Emmer exit. And here now is Newsmax reporter Kimberly Duckhart reading off some of the reaction from Republicans and talking about how important it is that the GOP fills this position. Clip 2.
Congressman Bill Huizenga said this is a dumpster fire. Texas Congressman Michael McCall says he's embarrassed for the state of the party. And there are high stakes here on the line. There are those funding requests that are urgently being asked for Israel as well as for Ukraine. And there's also a federal government shutdown looming next month.
Now, since those two segments, Republicans got back together, had another meeting in private, and they've decided that Congressman Mike Johnson, again of Louisiana, is going to be their nominee for House Speaker. They could vote today.
Okay. I feel like we're living in Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. Huh?
You too?
The Republicans keep voting and they don't get enough votes, and then we go back to the hotel and get up and do the same thing the next day. Reference there to Bill Murray's character. Mm-hmm. So let me get this straight, Chris, if you can get this straight for me. You have to get a certain number of votes to become Speaker of the House amongst the whole body.
Correct.
Democrats, Republicans included. This isn't an election among Republicans themselves to be Speaker of the House.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the Republicans have been putting up people. We've gone through